my last video, I laid out a series of coincidences surrounding Tommaso Cioni, the 4-hour window, the ownership behavior on the porch, the night trial gloves, the power of attorney signed 8 months before his mother-in-law vanished, the FBI returning to his home 5 separate times. That video reached a lot of people, and it raised a question I deliberately did not answer. If Tommaso Cioni planned this, he didn't execute it alone. The man in the FBI doorbell footage is described as 59 to 5'10" with an average build. Tommaso Cioni is taller than that. He does not match. That is the single biggest hole in the theory I presented, and I left it open on purpose because I was still pulling records. I have now been through the Pima County court system, property filings, band archives, social media accounts dating back to 2007. And what I found is a name that keeps appearing next to Tommaso Cioni, a name attached to felony convictions for burglary, robbery, theft, and embezzlement. A man who lives in the Tucson area, minutes from Nancy Guthrie's home. A man who fits the physical description the FBI released. This video is about that man. His name is Dominic Evans, and his connection to this case goes deeper than anyone has reported. It starts with a Craigslist ad. In April of 2007, 3 men in Tucson, Arizona found each other through the most mundane channels imaginable. Dominic Evans, a drummer, met guitarist Walter Igonov's Jr. through a Craigslist posting. Tommaso Cioni, who had moved to the United States from Tuscany, Italy just the year before, responded to an ad in the Tucson Weekly. They formed a band. They called it early black indie post-punk, shoegaze and grunge. Influences, the kind of music that fills small venues in college towns and never quite breaks through to the mainstream. Dominic handled drums. Tommaso played bass and sang. Gonzalez played guitar and also contributed vocals. They recorded their debut album at Loveland Studios in Tucson and released it in 2010 to positive local reviews in the Tucson Weekly. They played shows in Tucson, Phoenix, and Flagstaff. They had a local following. They never made it big. The name of that debut album is Life, Love, Murder. I need tapas here because I do not want to sensationalize that title. Plenty of bands name albums with dark or provocative language. It does not mean anything by itself. But in the context of what happened to Nancy Guthrie, in the context of the man who played on that record now being scrutinized by online investigators for his potential connection to a kidnapping, the title sits differently than it did in 2010. You do not need me to tell you why. You can hear it for yourself. What matters more than the album title is what the band represents. A nearly 2-decade friendship between Tommaso Cioni and Dominic Evans. They did not grow up together. They did not go to school together. They were not childhood friends reconnecting. They were strangers who found each other through classified ads in 2007 and built a relationship through music rehearsals, recording sessions, and live shows across Arizona. By the time Nancy Guthrie disappeared in January of 2026, Tommaso and Dominic had known each other for 19 years. 19 years is not a casual acquaintance. That is a deep, sustained relationship. The kind of relationship where you know someone's habits, their financial situation, their capabilities, their weaknesses. You know what they are willing to do and what they are not willing to do. You know what they need. And in a case where investigators are reactively considering the possibility that the man on the porch did not act alone, 19 years of trust between 2 men is not background noise. It is infrastructure. Tommaso married Annie Guthrie in September of 2006, 1 year before Early Black was formed. That means for the entire duration of his relationship with Dominic Evans, Tommaso has been a member of the Guthrie family. Every conversation between Tommaso and Dominic over those 19 years happened in the context of Tommaso's marriage to Nancy Guthrie's daughter. Dominic would have known about the family. He would have known about Savannah. He would have known about the house in the Catalina foothills. Not because he was conducting surveillance, but because that is what happens when you are close friends with someone for nearly 2 decades. Their life becomes familiar to you. Drop a comment below and tell me what you think by the end of this video, because everything I am about to show you has not been covered anywhere else in this level of detail. Let us continue. Dominic Aaron Lee Evans has a criminal record in Pima County, Arizona. The charges include felony burglary, robbery, theft, embezzlement, and DUI. This information was publicized by an investigative account on X, formerly Twitter, called @JLR Investigates. WA posted a screenshot of court records from the Arizona Pima County court system. Multiple media outlets subsequently reported on this criminal history. I need to walk through what those charges mean individually because the specific crimes matter enormously in the context of this case. Burglary. In Arizona, burglary is defined as entering or remaining unlawfully in a structure with the intent to commit a felony or theft. It is not about stealing property from a store. It is about entering a place you are not supposed to be, a home, a building, a residence. The legal definition of burglary maps almost perfectly onto what happened at Nancy Guthrie's house on the night of February 1st. Someone entered her home unlawfully with the intent to commit a crime, robbery. Robbery differs from theft because it involves force or the threat of force against another person. It is not a passive crime. It requires confrontation. It requires a willingness to face another human being and take something from them by intimidation or violence. Whoever entered Nancy Guthrie's home that night did not simply take an object. They took a person, an 84-year-old woman with a pacemaker and limited mobility. That requires a specific psychological threshold. The willingness to physically confront and overpower another human being. Most people do not have that threshold. Someone with a robbery conviction has already crossed it. Theft and embezzlement. These are financial crimes. They suggest a pattern of taking what does not belong to you and a comfort with deception over extended periods. Embezzlement in particular requires a position of trust. You cannot embezzle from someone who does not trust you with their resources. Now think about the profile of the man on Nancy Guthrie's porch. Someone who entered a home in the middle of the night. Someone who confronted an elderly woman and physically removed her from her residence. Someone who did all of this while wearing discount gear and a mask, suggesting a level of criminal familiarity, but not professional sophistication. That profile does not fit a 15-year AP biology teacher who studies lizards and makes homemade pasta. But it fits a man with felony convictions for burglary and robbery with disturbing precision. In my last video, I introduced the theory that this crime was committed by two people, an architect and an operative. The architect is the person who planned the crime. They know the house. They know the camera system. They know the victim's routine. They know the family's finances. The operative is the person who physically executed the plan. They are the one on the porch. The one in the mask, the one who enters the house and does the work. The architect provides the intelligence. The operative provides the nerve. If Tommaso Cioni is the architect, then the question becomes, who in his inner circle has the criminal experience, the physical capability, and the willingness to be the operative?
Hi there. I'm coming on to say it is day 24 since our mom was taken in the dark of night from her bed. And every hour and minute and second and every long night has been agony. Night from her bed. And every hour and minute and second and every long night has been agony since then, of worrying about her and fearing for her and aching for her, and most of all, just missing her, We know that millions of you have been praying. So many people have been praying of every faith and no faith at all, praying for her return. And we feel those prayers. Please keep praying without ceasing. We still believe. We still believe in a miracle. We still believe that she can come home. Hope against hope. As my sister says, we are blowing on the embers of hope. We also know that she may be lost. She may already be gone. She may have already gone home to the Lord that she loves and is dancing in heaven with her mom and her dad and with her beloved brother Pierce and with our daddy. And if this is what is to be, then we will accept it. But we need to know where she is. We need her to come home. For that reason, we are offering a family reward of up to $1 million for any information that leads us to her recovery. All of the information about this reward and the details is in the caption below. You can call the 1-800-TIP line. You can be anonymous if you want. Someone out there knows something that can bring her home. Somebody knows. And we are begging you to please come forward now. We also know that we are not alone in our loss. We know there are millions of families that have suffered with this kind of uncertainty. And for that reason today, we also are donating $500,000 to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children for their work in helping families who are coping with loss and actively looking for those who are lost. We are hoping that the attention that has been given to our mom and our family will extend to all the families like ours who are in need and need prayers and need support. So please, if you hear this message, if you've been waiting and you haven't been sure, let this be your sign to please come forward, tell what you know, and help us bring our beloved mom home so that we can either celebrate a glorious, miraculous homecoming or celebrate the beautiful, brave, and courageous and noble life that she has lived. Us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
Sent Friday to a Tucson television station.
I think what they're trying to do is gently push
taking them seriously. An earlier message made demands for Bitcoin and established 2 deadlines, one last week and another deadline today. The Sheriff's Department says this remains an active and ongoing investigation. Detectives and agents continue to conduct follow-up at multiple locations. But after a full week of searching,
Is Monday morning, we have received a 4th letter from the same person who says that he knows where Nancy Guthrie is and he wants money in return for the information. Essentially, he wants the reward. So I have something to say to you, and I've already talked to the FBI about this, that if you are not real, you're committing a crime, and you should know that. And this is a serious federal crime. If you are real, this is the 4th letter you've sent, and I should tell everybody that in this letter, it says, I know what I saw 5 days ago south of the border, and I was told to shut up, so I know who he is, and that was definitely Nancy with them. This is the second time he has referred to more than one person involved in this. He said there is a main person and there are others, and he said it here. He is saying that Nancy was taken to Mexico. Now, this is what he's saying. I'm not going to vouch for him, but this is the fourth letter. We have sent them all on to the FBI. And he also says one of the reasons he's worried about coming forward is he has a record. He has a burglary on his record from 10 years ago. So I don't know if you're real or not if you're watching this, but if you are, and I have told the FBI that we're going to do this, they know this, that if you're worried about getting this money and you really do have this information, send it to us. You're sending us these letters. Send it to us. We will forward it to the FBI. And that way there's a record that we have that you supplied this information. If they find her and they find the kidnapper, then at least there is evidence, because we have it, that you're the one who provided the information. So this is a way for you to get that money if this really is